share a lot of information in regards to retirement and investments. Very good information. If you have any questions, you can stop me along the way to ask any questions. We're going to be sharing, I'm going to be sharing my screen here in a little bit. But I mentioned earlier, there's two of me here. There's my phone having technical difficulties, my phone, and then here I am. My camera's up here. Welcome, everyone. I know you've gone through a series of trainings, but here we're going to have a better understanding of retirement and investments. It's huge. A lot of families are not ready for retirement. And that's what we're going to be covering today. But before I get started, anybody want to introduce themselves? What organizations are you with? I want to open it up for anyone that want to go ahead and get started with the introductions. Anybody want to share? Who's joining us today? Let's see. I'm calling up. Huh?
I'll share. I'm Sam Plaza. Hi, everyone. I'm with Louisville Metro's Office of Resilience and Community Services, and I coordinate the action work.
Awesome. Welcome. That's great. Thank you for sharing.
This is Jennifer Massey.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, this is Jennifer Massey. I'm also with RCS and the NP Cares program.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you.
I'm Keisha Gardner. I'm the employment specialist at St. John Center for Homeless Men.
Awesome. Welcome. That's great. That's good to have you all here. Anybody else? Don't be shy. It's okay. Who else do we have here? Let's see. I don't know if you can, Miss Karen. No, you. Oh, we cannot hear. Oh, we cannot hear you. It's okay. We have.
My name is Shannon Robinson. I'm with Louisville Metro's Housing and Support.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Who else?
Hi, I'm Gina Helms. I'm the co-executive director with Ministries United of South Central Louisville, and we do emergency assistance, food, clothing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, Miss Gina.
Oh, I'm not sure if you heard. My name is Gina Helms, and I'm with Ministries United of South Central Louisville, and I'm one of the 13 community ministries. We help with emergency assistance, food, and clothing.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Who else? I think it was Latoya that was.
My name is Latoya Jones, and I work for Louisville Metro Resilience and Community Services.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Who else?
Hello, my name is Casey Thompson. I am an assistant with Louisville MSD.
Great. Thank you for being here, Casey. Who else? We have different numbers here. We have Miss A. Miller, Cassandra. Okay.
Hello, I'm Elisa Miller. I'm with House of Ruth. I'm a housing program manager here.
Housing program, great.
Hi, my name is Cassandra, and I work for the program Project Life with RCS.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Cicely Bishop. I work for Louisville Metro Community Services, and I'm with the CSBG team located at the NIA Center.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Who else?
My name is Jennifer Mendez. I'm with NP Cares at South Central.
Welcome.
Hi, Tiffany Woodson, volunteer coordinator, Meals on Wheels program.
Great, welcome. I love it. We have a lot of different Congratulations, yes, that's great. I love to be able to share the information that we're gonna be going over today. Like I say, if you have any questions, please let me know. Let me introduce myself before I get started. My name is Martha Puche, and I'm with Transamerica. It's our broker dealer. We're considered brokers, and we give guidance. We do financial education for everyone in the community. Anybody that doesn't have anything to get something started, because the reality is that the lack of financial literacy is out there. So here we're only going to concentrate on retirement and investments, but we're spreading the word, making sure that everyone has some type of knowledge on basics on finance. I'm a financial professional. I've been in the industry for over 3 years, and I love the fact that we get to help families, because sometimes we don't understand the basics, right? Basics of how to prepare for retirement is huge, right? The demand is out there, and the sad part is that a lot of families are not able to retire because they have not worked towards building something for their future. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let me make sure that I can do that. Can we see it? Yeah. Let's see. Uh-oh. Kick me out. Let me figure it out. Sorry about that. For some reason, it's not letting me share. I don't know if Miss Cynthia can help me. Let me see. Can you guys see it? Can you guys see the screen? Anybody?
Yes, we see it.
Thank you. Thank you for. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna go over financial empowerment. This is one of the Mr. Joseph Cecile asked me. I sat down and spoke with him about what do we have here in our hands, and I'm gonna be sharing with you some statistics, some ways of families how to have that a better how to better be prepared for their retirement and investment. So now, let's figure what's going on here. For some reason, it's not there. Stop sharing. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can do it this other way. Here we go. Okie dokes. I think we're good to go now. So financial empowerment, the first thing that I want to share with you guys is the need for financial literacy here in America. The fact is that it's a lot of families out there, they don't have they're financial illiterate. So here, I'm going to be able to share more in regards to how here in the U.S. My goodness. Talking about issues with our technology. Give me just a minute. Okay. Yeah, I can do it from my phone here. Okay. Here, according to the graph, there are only a little over half of Americans that are financial literate. It's huge because in this workshop today, we want to bring and also create a generation of people who are disciplined and wise with their money. The reality is, like, would you say that most people are disciplined and wise with their money? The reality is a lot of people are not even disciplined with their own personal life, more or less with their money, right? We believe it's very important to be wise with the money. And from a scale from 1 to 10, I don't know about you guys, but how much would you rate? How would you rate the need of financial education up to this point in America? Here, what we're doing is we're filling that gap through education and awareness, just to make sure that the families that come, middle class and lower class families, don't have, the reality is that they don't have the financial literacy that the wealthy America has, right? The guidance. Middle and lower class families don't have the guidance. So what we're doing here is creating an equal playing field, making sure that all the families out there that have the tools and the knowledge and know their options on how to better manage their personal finances. Keep in mind, everyone is usually extremely busy managing work, living day to day, their families, their stress, that comes along with both family, work, trying to make it, day to day. But we believe it's important to hit sometimes that pause button, wanting to learn a little bit more about finances. And that's what we're going to be going over today. Take a step back and concentrate on what really is important for these families. Now here, what does financial independence means? We got to know what does that mean? And I'm going to go into retirement. Yes, we're going to be talking about retirement. But if families don't understand finances, how can they better prepare for retirement? It's huge. The reality is that 58% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. That's crazy. One in 5 Americans have no retirement savings at all. There's a lot of families out there that, hey, even though they're close to retirement, they can't even retire because they were never prepared. They don't even have anything towards their savings, right? 22% of Americans have less than $5,000 saved for retirement. That's huge. Less than $5,000 saved for retirement. That's the reason we see a lot of families and a lot of older individuals that have to continue working even after retirement. Why? Because nobody actually took the time to educate them financially, right? The tools are out there, but there's not that many people giving the advice on how to better their personal finances. It says only 41% of adults in Americans have coverage, right? What kind of coverage? Many rely on group insurance. After they leave for their retirement, what happens to the health insurance? They have to get into Medicare, all of these other options. But what does that leave them? It leave them vulnerable if they lose a job. A lot of people, hey, the older you get, the more medical conditions that we come across. It's sad to say, but the coverage is not there. So most of the money has to come out of their personal pocket to be able to get this done. Especially during the time, the golden years, that's what they call it. They want to make sure they have enough money saved during this time. But the reality is that nobody actually took the time to educate them financially. Even if you have a 401k, don't get me wrong, a lot of companies out there provide retirement, that contribution towards families' retirement, 401k. But how many families do you know that actually understand how a 401k works? I see a few of you shaking your head right there, right? There's that many families that don't even know how retirement works. How to a retirement account, so important as a 401k. They don't know how it works. So we're able to sit down with families to give them that guidance. 27% of American adults with life insurance, the percent who only have group coverage, which is usually isn't enough. There's a lot of companies out there that usually, yeah, sometimes we don't think that life insurance is going to cut it, right? But now everything has evolved, especially after COVID. Now there's some benefits for families that can protect them even when they're alive. It has what is called living benefits. Even if they have a disability, anything what they still, they don't have to wait until they die. But a lot of 20% of adults don't even own life insurance, you know? The next thing is baby boomers. Who's familiar with baby boomers? There's Karen. Thank you for sharing, Karen. In 2011, baby boomers started turning 65. It was 2011. And from now on into 2030, that number will swell by 10,000 each day. Isn't that crazy? 10,000 each day of baby boomers. That's 70,000 per week and over 280,000 per month of baby boomers that are getting ready to retire. Anybody? I don't know if anybody has the on mute. Okay. Now, on the other hand, other than baby boomers, now millennials, right? Millennials are feeling a frightening sense of economic deja vu nowadays. As my generation enters middle age, we're already experienced two black swan events. One recession sparked by a global financial crisis, and now the global pandemic. Right now, we feel a little bit more lost. We don't know what to do. Right? Everybody. Hey, there's a lot of families that have lost their job due to the pandemic. There's a lot of families that have gotten laid off, that they have to go back to whatever they can find so they can actually, make the day-to-day living. But they're forgetting about their retirement. They're just living the now, the moment right now. There's a lot of companies. Think about this. Before the pandemic, a lot of companies were offering the 401k with their the company's matching. You contribute certain amount and the company will contribute the same percentage as long as you're contributing. But guess what? After the pandemic, a lot of companies are not contributing towards their employees 401ks or retirement benefits. So what's going to happen to these families? How are they going to prepare for their retirement? It's huge. We have to understand the need that we have out there for these families, especially after our global pandemic. Here, we have bringing the financial literacy gap in another minority groups. The reality is that, hey, we're surrounded with a lot of, hey, I'm Hispanic. The U.S.-born Hispanics have greater financial literacy than the foreign-born Hispanics. There is a racial gap in financial literacy for American adults. African-American financial literacy rates are lower than that of white Americans. We have the difference here, right? The Hispanic-born, the Hispanic foreign-born, all adults and whites and African-Americans. At the end of the day, I like to show this because just so you can have a better understanding of, there's a lack of financial literacy. To be honest with you, when I was in high school, nobody actually took the time. I mean, there's some high school, don't get me wrong, that they provide financial education classes. But that's not enough to prepare you for the real world, right? That we don't have a class that teaches you about how does credit works, how does student loans work, how to prepare for retirement, can we invest? Like all of this stuff, the problem is that we need to have more, knowledge on when it comes to finances. Now here, students, this is a financial education and students, right? Students, and this is where everything starts. Those of you that have kids, grandkids, how are they getting prepared? Not only yourself for your retirement, which I'm going to be talking about older individuals about retirement, but also let's start with the financial education and students. Students spend their high school years learning topics that help them pass state or nationally mandated exam, but not provide much benefit after high school. Requiring students to take a financial literacy course will allow students to learn foundational economics teach students responsibility that may not be taught at home and help them prepare for college and retirement. You know, too many few students, particularly those of the low income backgrounds, receive personal financial, they don't receive financial education in high school. Students graduating high school are expected to make those big decisions about student loans. I mentioned that, credit card, a credit card spending, budgeting for living expenses. You know, after high school, everybody is on their own, right? Um, there's so many that are making these important decisions in the dark. Why? Because, you know, we don't have this knowledge without a safety net to fall back into. As the economic reels from the fallout of the coronavirus pandemic, students are entering a world where high unemployment is out there, bankruptcy, and looming recession could have lasting effects. We don't know how long this is going to last. While financial education is very important, it won't solve the economic challenges. So many students and families, what are they facing? The hardship of knowing more about finances. It can play a role in helping students build a positive habits, bringing this knowledge for students, save for emergencies, make fewer financial mistakes that could set them back in the future. There's a lot of research out there that have found students who receive financial literacy education were more likely to take out a low interest federal loan to pay for college. Nobody actually tells you which loans to take out before entering college. So while they tended to borrow more federal student loans, they also worked few hours, you know, had higher college persistence rates, and were more likely to graduate. Okay. College students are building a habit and mindset about planning ahead for expenses such as textbooks, food, visits to the homes. Instead of throwing them on a credit card, those expenses, now they're thinking it through and saying, actually, you know, let's go ahead and start saving money. Here, the next thing, I love this right here. To be honest with you, this is where everything comes down to, because not many people understand what are the three-legged stool of retirement. You know, the traditional model is being questioned. Okay. And this is all over the news. You can even do your own research and, you know, go over the three stools of retirement. The traditional retirement model is being questioned. So in the past, retirees counted on three sources for retirement income. Okay. With this traditional model, we question a new retirement strategy focus on personal responsibility is needed. Okay. The three-legged stool refers to traditional retirement income model, which is composed of Social Security check, a company pension, and your personal savings. Each one of is the legged stool. The strength of the Social Security system is in question. You know, we don't just want to depend on one of these legs of this stool. Pensions are becoming a thing of the past, which leaves personal savings as the only leg, right? With the three-legged stool of retirement all but gone, there has been a shift to personal responsibility. It's important to learn the right balance between what you spend now and what you save for later. Okay. In the past, retirees counted on the three sources of their retirement income. Social Security, you know, the Social Security check was one of them. In 2009, the full retirement age for these born after 1960 is 67 years old. Okay. The company pension, the benefits are based on salary and length of the time at that company. And the third is personal savings and investments, right? Savings accounts, IRAs, 401ks, mutual funds, annuities, etc. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get started with the first one, Social Security. Social Security is there for you, but about 42 million people receive Social Security benefits, retirement benefits. About 71% receive reduced benefits. That's crazy. 71% receive reduced benefits. You know, people are living longer than ever. Hey, now I don't know if you notice, but there's more families that are surpassing the 100 years old. People are living longer, and I love that people are living longer. Don't you? Don't you? I love the fact that there's our grandparents are here even longer. Now there are options and benefits for those who can afford to wait. So why do people collect benefits as soon as they can at a reduced amount? For many, is because they have to. So you have the option through Social Security to collect them a little earlier or wait until you actual retirement. But there is a lot of people that they just want the money right away. Why? Because they have to, they need the money. They need the income to purchase the necessities during their retirement. However, many of these won't have this necessity, still elect to take the benefits out. Why? They may worry about dying too young and, and not getting the money that they have paid into the program. But Social Security calculations indicate for men and women to attain age 65, the ones that have the age 65, the life expectancy will be 84 and 86, respectively. Okay. If you can afford to wait until full retirement age or beyond, you should take a closer look at your options, because there are better options after you wait. Okay. And that's why we have to, better prepare until then. And there's ways, don't get me wrong. Everybody's situation is different. Okay. There's a lot of families out there. Example, my needs are not the same needs as Karen, as Keisha, Miss Mendez. We don't have the same needs, right? So how do we better prepare to what our goals and dreams are whenever we get to the retirement? There's options for families. So claiming benefits at the soonest possible opportunity may not be in your best interest. There are strategies that you can use now that may help you maximize those benefits that you will receive for the rest of your life. Should you be fortunate enough to outlive your life expectancy, hopefully we live longer than what we expect, but we just don't know, right? These strategies are much more significant to you now that they have been for generations. Why? The longevity is a reality. Okay. For example, my grandma, and I'm going to put it out there, my grandma is 92 years old, and she has gone through COVID. She's a trooper. But think about this. What is my life expectancy now is longer. I thought I was going to be here until like, I don't know, 85, but seeing both of my grandmas, thank God they still alive. One is 92 and the other one is 90. Now my life expectancy is getting, out there because of my generations. Now, I need to start looking into how can I better prepare for when now no longer 85. Now I have to prepare to when I'm 95. Those are 10-year difference that I was not ready for. I was not prepared for. So it is important to the success of your retirement to plan that the appropriate factors, because there's factors that you have to include into your Social Security. So according to the Social Security Administration report, 1 out of 4 adults 65 today will live past 90, and 1 in 10 will live past 95. Think about that. That's crazy. Now, what I'm going to mention about Social Security will help educate you on the basis of Social Security to help you make best decisions based on your individual needs and goals. If you don't know much about Social Security, you're not alone. There's a lot of families that have no idea how Social Security works, but sometimes we don't understand much about Social Security. Today we're going to outline some of the simple terms, the crucial aspects of Social Security retirement benefits. I believe that with a little bit of guidance, you will realize that Social Security isn't as complex as it seems. Remember, there's not one size fits all. The way to approach Social Security planning, right? It's not that one thing is gonna, cover everyone's needs and wants here. Your strategies needs to reflect your unique situation. Now, Social Security, the bottom line is this. Hold on, I have you guys in front of me. Let's see. Think about Reserves from Social Security are projected to pay full benefits until 2035. Personally, I know that I cannot depend on just Social Security. I have to put other stuff to work, because if there are projections is that the full benefits are gonna run out at on 2035, we have to work on other of the stool, the legs of the stool, right? Which is also my personal savings. Trust income projected to cover 75% of benefits from 2035 to 2021. Okay, so even if nothing is changed, a 55-year-old today won't likely have to worry about his or her benefits being affected until age 73 at the earliest, assuming no other changes to Social Security benefits. Okay, so it's a good idea to take a quick look at some of information from the program's trustees who publishes the exhaustive of the Social Security benefits by 2035. The report projects that, and the annual taxes are expected to cover only about 3/4 of the benefits each year after that. So, like I said, this is just to put it out there for everyone. Hey, we can not only depend on Social Security, because the reality is a lot of families only depend on that. How much Social Security is paying families nowadays? I know some families, and I have sat down with a lot of families, and hey, they receive from 800, 1,200, 1,500 on the monthly basis. Do you think that's enough for families to cover all of their needs? Not even a rent payment, not even their mortgage payment. What happened to the LG&E bill? What happened to the water bill, their phone, like all their food, right? How is it possible that families are only, that's why there's a lot of families that, because they don't have enough coming in, that's why even they're older, they have to get out in the field and start working again. It's sad. You go to certain companies and they're working not because they're bored at home, but because they have the need of getting out there and work. Okay, they never got prepared. But for those of you that work with a lot of families, they should start getting prepared, because they don't want to depend. According to the reports that they're throwing out there, by 2035, they're gonna run out of money. So hopefully we don't have to go through that. Here, what are the challenges that the program is facing? Okay, and I show these so we can start opening eyes to the community. We have a huge drive of having families to start something, and they can have some income coming in for Social Security, but they have to have other stuff working on the pipeline, literally. So challenges facing the program: retiring baby boomers will strain reserves. Life expectancy continue to increase. I continue saying ratio of workers to beneficiaries is shrinking. A lot of millennials, and I'm in that group, they're not really working. They're moving things around, right? Especially now with technology, that's a lot of them don't want to work. The ratio of workers for beneficiary is shrinking. So the reason why 401k was put up there and the Social Security is that, so for so many workers, so many can start retiring with the contributions and it go from there. But if the ratio of work to beneficiaries are shrinking, there's not that money to contribute to the people that are retiring. Okay, so look, in 1960, 5.1 to 1. So there's 5.1 working to one person that was retiring. 2016, 2.8 to 1. Man, that shrinks a lot. And then into 2035, 2.2 to 1 are going to contribute into that one person that is, and it will continue. After that, it will continue shrinking. That's the reality. So why Social Security might be in trouble? Part of the problem can be contributed to the low, like I said, the life expectancy, a smaller working age population, and an increase in the number of retirees. By 2035, the number of Americans 65 and older will increase to more than 78 million from around about 56 million today. As a result, more people will be taking money out of their Social Security system, but there will be fewer people paying into it, okay? What is the worst case scenario? Benefits could be cut, okay? If you plan to rely on the program, keep in mind that there's chances that you could receive less, right, as expected. If no changes are made to deal with the trust fund shortfall, benefit will have to reduce by 23%, according to the 2020 annual report. And I'm gonna be listing, where am I getting all of these statistics? I'm gonna be listing the list towards the end, the list of resources that we usually share with the community that we give this information to. So now here, Social Security there for you, possible changes. Increase, what are the possible changes on this one? Here, increase of Social Security tax rates. Most likely, and especially now after the pandemic, a lot of families have gotten their stimulus check and, you know, all of these benefits, which it has helped the community. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's complaining, because I know a lot of families have been affected. But where is that going to take us in the future? What do you guys think? Taxes are going to go up or lower? Most likely taxes are going to go up. That's the reality. So what's going to happen? Increase on Social Security taxes as well. Higher maximum of earnings subject to Social Security tax. Increase of the full retirement age. Remember, it was at 65, now it's 67. How old now in the future you're going to have to be able to retire? Most likely they're going to have to increase that FRA. Increase of future decrease of future retirement benefits. Reduction of future cost of living adjustments. You know, the cost of living, it's gonna, especially with inflation. What are we doing? Inflation is almost at 1.6%. If you're not having your money working at that rate, you're losing money, right? And I know a lot of families that they prefer to keep their money under the mattress, under the couch, but they're not putting their money to grow for them, especially for their future. So there's legitimate concerns about the program sustainability, and we have to open up eyes. Here are some of the reasons why some changes. Deciding when to collect. This right here is huge. You have options on when to collect Social Security, okay, especially during retirement. First, you have to make sure that you're eligible, okay? So delaying benefit from 62 until age 70 represent a 76% increase in monthly payments. You know how many families know that? Not that many families know that. That if they wait a little longer, the increase on their monthly payment will be 76%. That's huge. What does that mean for monthly benefit? I have some examples here, and I'm gonna go over. But in order to determine the Social Security Administration, they use what it calls credits. What are credits? You can find out how many credits you've earned by contacting the Social Security Administration place, or you can do it online. Although special situation exists, a person age 62 or older today needs 40 credits to receive retirement benefits, which generally means 10 years in the workplace. Okay, let me repeat that again. A person age 62 or older today needs 40 credits to receive their retirement benefits, okay? Which that means that they have to have worked 10 years in the workplace. You know, in 2018, you earn 1 credit for each $1,320 you make, okay? You can earn a maximum of 4 credits per year, okay? Any questions right there? I hope I'm not getting anybody confused about the credits and how much you have to work and how much you have to be in the workplace. But we have to have a better understanding on how many credits family need in order to be eligible for Social Security. Most families have no idea what they need to complete or accomplish in order for them to get these benefits, okay? So Receiving enough credits shouldn't be an issue for most obviously in this room. But I wanted to talk about it because there's a common misconception that those who have earned 40 credits will receive the maximum monthly benefit amount. Okay, this is incorrect. Remember, the credits only determine whether you qualify for benefits. Okay, your earnings history determines the size of your payments. So now the Social Security Administration calculates the average index monthly earnings during the 35 years in which you earn the most, and then plugs it into a formula that determines your primary insurance amount, which they call it the PIA. The PIA is the primary insurance amount. How do they establish that? They calculate the average index monthly earnings during 35 years in which you've earned the most, okay? And then they put it into this formula that determines the PIA, primary insurance amount. This is how much will you will receive at your full retirement age, FRA, full retirement age, okay? Now, the Social Security website provides a detailed explanation of this formula, okay? For those who want to know more about the formula, log into the Social Security website and they will obviously better explain you the formula, how they break it down, and then it will allow you to calculate the benefits for yourself, okay? You can plug in the numbers, you can actually have a better understanding with how much you can, what will be your full retirement amount whenever you retire, okay? Right, I know this is a little difficult, and this is a difficult question because everybody's situation is different. I mentioned that since the beginning. Now, there are so many factors involved in making that decision. Because if you take a look at this chart right here, if you retire at age 62, you're only going to get $964. Well, remember, everybody's situation is different, but this is just an illustration so everybody has an idea, right? 66 and 2 months, this is how much they get. If you, a lot of families access their benefits because they need the money, but if they wait a little longer, that's a huge difference. From 964, whenever they went to age 70, they can receive up to, $1,698. But the reality is that a lot of families cannot wait until age 70 because they did not prepare all those years that they were working. Nobody actually brought this information today. So, hey, here are some examples of your benefit will be affected based on when you choose to file for benefits. This table shows in dollars, right? Just how much different your monthly checks will look depending on when you file based on primary insurance amount of $1,000. Like I said, this is an illustration. Everyone's situation is different, but it gives you an idea, okay? Any questions so far? Anybody? No?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Was Miss Karen?
Yes, Karen. Is the amount that you're able to drawing your Social Security and still having a job the same for everyone, or is it based on your income, like they base, your monthly payment? Is it based on how much you've made through your lifetime? You see
It
what
is,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
it is. What is it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, do you understand what I'm saying? See, I have Alzheimer's that runs in my family. So I was thinking of retiring early and working, and then I could actually bring in more than what I'm bringing in now, working for, for a nonprofit. You see what I'm saying?
Totally get it. Yes. Yeah, you can continue working, but yes, it is based on how much you've earned with the 35 years that you've earned the most.
Okay, so it's different for everybody then, how much
It's totally different from everyone. Yeah, because they go based on the years that you've been working. Because not everybody has worked the 40-hour credits that they need.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the credits. I'm talking
Oh,
about when you have a job
mhm.
along with your Social Security. Is the amount that you can make per year without being penalized the same for everyone? Or will it be different? Like, it would be different because there's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
a set amount that no one can go above.
Yeah, it will be different for everyone, depending on everyone's situation. Yeah, yeah. And I can sit down and show you exactly on how will it impact your personal. Like I said, I could sit down with Keisha. Hers is gonna be totally different than yours. Everybody's
Right.
different. Yes. But having a better understanding and guidance, yeah, I can reach out and give you your exact number on how will that reflect your personals. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, to your question, everybody's different.
Because I've had clients ask me that. What is, if I work and draw Social Security, what is the amount that I can make per year? And I was like, well, I really don't know that. I don't know if it's the same amount, like everybody can make up to $21,000, or if it's, $35,000. I don't know. So that's why I
Yeah.
was asking.
No, yeah, I totally understand. I get your question, but yeah, everybody's different. Yeah, we'll have to see everyone's, different situations. Okay. So yeah, everybody's different. Thank you for asking. Awesome. So again, here we're gonna go back. We cover one of the stools, right? We talked about Social Security. Okay. We talked about Social Security, the benefits, how will it might affect you. Like I say, everybody's different. And what I showed you, it was an illustration. That doesn't mean that it's gonna be that amount, none of that stuff. I wanted to give you an idea on how would that perform. Okay. Now, the next thing that I wanna talk about is the next stool. Company pensions are on the decline. Okay. This one right here is very important to understand because there's a lot of companies that are not offering pensions anymore, right? There are some, I don't know if you guys heard a couple of years ago, even GE were froze their employee pensions. It was all over the news. It was insane. But what was families doing? So in the past, retirees often enjoyed a combination of company pensions, the pension, obviously, a social security check, and their personal savings, the three stools. In fact, the percentage of workers in the private sector, those only retirement account is a defined benefit pension plan is now 4%, down from 60%. In the early 1980s. 1980s, they had a 60%. Nowadays, it's down to 4%. With the traditional model in question, a new retirement strategy focused on personal responsibility is needed. That's why 401k plans have essentially replaced pensions. But now, after the pandemic, the 401k has also been affected because, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of companies are not contributing or matching what their employees are contributing to those 401ks. So we still have left with other options outside of the those retirement plans. So remember, there's Social Security. Hey, hopefully it's not as bad as they mentioned, but we still have to think about, hey, pensions are no longer there. We're left with what? Savings. Now, Social Security, company pensions, personal savings, and investments. Now here, this is very important to understand. I don't know how many of you, those that have the camera on, how many of you have ever heard of the rule of 72? Never heard of the rule 72? You've heard the rule 72? Okay, hopefully, no, haven't heard of that, Casey. Miss Shirley, you've heard of that? Okay, perfect. I know Keisha, you mentioned you heard. But let's have a better understanding on how the rule 72 works, because there's a lot of information. Keisha, thank you for thumbs up. Yes. I want to do a recap so we can all be on the same page when we talk about the rule 72, because there's a lot of information out there, but let's have a good understanding on how does this rule works. This right here is a key concept that we feel that can help families reach that financial freedom. Okay, everybody's looking for a financial freedom. I don't know how many of you like sports, right? Personally, I like basketball. So whenever I ask families, hey, does basketball, or whoever you that like basketball, football, I don't know, soccer, hey, does basketball require you to know the rules of the game in order to win? Of course, you have to know the rules of the game in order to win. So the same thing, the rule 72 is the rule of the money game. If you know this rule, you will win the game of money. Okay, so learn how long it takes for money to double. What is the rule 72? Here, we divide 72 by the annual rate of return. This gives you the approximate number of years that it will take for your investment to double. So you take 72 and divide it by the percentage rate that your financial institution is giving you, is going to equal out to the amount of years that is going to take your money to double. Okay. A lot of companies out there, a lot of organizations out there, they're not giving much of interest in the accounts, right? There's, for example, there's a bank, I don't want to say the name, that I personally go to, and they're on my regular savings accounts, and you can Google, look it up, your savings account, how much your bank is giving you in your regular savings account, right? Personally, mine is giving me 0.01% interest. Okay, let's say that the bank is going to give me 1%. Maybe they're being super nice and they're going to give me 4% interest. Okay, now 72, and here's a great example, 72 divided by 4 equals 18. Okay, at 4%, money nearly doubles every 18 years. That's at 4% every 18 years. Think about 1%. 72 divided by 1 equals 72. That means that every 72, my money is going to double. But here, because I have the graph in front of me, you can have a better understanding on how the money is going to double in this type of accounts with that much interest rate. Hey, initial amount, let's say at 18 years old, initial amounts, it was $10,000, right? 18 years later, your money is going to double. 36 years later, your money double again. 53 years later. So now what you need to do is take your age, okay? And then add the many years that your money is going to double. Same thing here. If you put your money in an account that is giving you 6% interest, 72 divided by 6, every 12 years, your money is going to double. Again, a 6% money nearly doubles every 12 years. Let's say you have at age 50 right now, $10,000, right? Age 50, you put in $10,000 in an account that is giving you 6% interest. Well, it's going to take you 12 years for those $10,000 to double. Now you're 62, and now you're going to get $20,000. Now it's going to take you another 12 years for those $20,000 to double. Now you're 86 when you have $40,000. Isn't that crazy? The same thing, and we continue, but keep this in mind. There's accounts out there that many families don't know that they even exist. There is accounts that can give you 10% interest, 12% interest, 15% interest. Many families have no idea that that even exists. It's crazy. Uh-oh. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen, right? Okay. So, yes, think about the rule 72. It's very important to understand how interest work, okay, and how interest is helping your money grow. Now, keep this in mind. Obviously, this rule can be positive or negative, right? Why? Because the interest rate on a credit card will cause families to double their debt faster. If you think about it, I'm giving you examples with 4%, 6%, 8%. Think about a credit card that is giving you an interest rate of 16%, 20%. I have families that I've sat down with, and their interest rate on a credit card is 29.99%. It's insane. Think about how fast their banks are doubling their money according to the Rule 72. It's crazy, but guess what? A lot of families are in that position. Sometimes you ask them, hey, how much interest rate do you pay on that credit card? They have no idea. They have no idea because they don't understand the game of money. They don't understand how interest rate works, which our crusade, our mission is to help families understand how the money games work. So a credit card, hey, will cause you to double that debt faster, which is sad, you know? Now, options for your money. How there's different ways, there's various ways to invest money, and there are 3 options, okay? The first one is fixed. When we put our money in this account, the fixed accounts, there's very little to no growth, okay? Bank accounts, okay, are one example of fixed accounts. CDs, money markets, savings, they fall into the fixed. Remember, little to no growth. The second one is the variable. As you can see from the graph, the money is going up and down. The money in these type of accounts are in the stock market, okay? There is an opportunity for growth, but also losses in these type of accounts. These type of accounts are variable. Those include 401k. 401k are under the variable, okay? IRAs, mutual funds, they fall into the variable. You have growth, but you're also going to have losses in these type of accounts. The third one is what is called the index accounts. These index accounts, they are based on the performance of the stock market, but it is not in the stock market. Think about this. When the market goes up, it gets locked in. So when the market goes down, there's no losses in this type of accounts, okay? I personally was not familiar with the index accounts. I was only familiar with the fixed and variable. And guess what? Come to realize that a lot of families are not familiar with the index as well. They only know about the fixed and variable because that's what we hear, right? That's what we mostly learn about. But when personally I sit down with families, I tell them, have a diversified portfolio. For those of you that are doing retirement, learn the different ways and different options that you have to, hey, put your money to work. Hey, if you're close to retirement, you don't want to have losses in your accounts, right? Personally, I can give you an example. I had a lady in 2020, last year, she was going to retire. She lost over $100,000 because her money was sitting in the 401k, and because of the crash that at the beginning of the pandemic we had, she was able to recoup that money, but a lot of families are not able to recoup that money. It takes years to recoup that money. Guess what? She couldn't retire last year because she lost so much money. She had to continue working, and she's going to continue working for the next 2 years. She didn't get to recoup everything that she lost because she didn't know what options she had. It's crazy. And there's a lot of people in the community. We, through our company, we were able to give her guidance, what options she has, where can she transfer that money to, so she doesn't have the impact of losses. There's so much, but you have to get guidance. You have to get, get financial literate. And this is why we're doing this. This is the reason why, hey, a lot of families need this type of guidance to understand what options they have. Okay. And now let me stop right there. Anybody has any questions? I know I've been giving you a lot of information. I don't know if you guys want to take a 5-minute break real quick, take something to drink, anything? You guys good? Okay. Perfect. Before I continue, we're going to give 5 minutes and then I'll continue with the rest. Okay. I'm going to get some water real quick. Okay, 2 minutes before we get started. Okay, let's continue. Okay, perfect. So here we already went over options for the money, so families understand that there's other options out there on how to put your money to work. Now, the next thing that we're gonna be covering is a topic that everyone loves, which is taxes. Who loves taxes? Everybody here loves taxes, right? But who likes paying taxes? Hey, the reality is that we get taxed when we get paid, income tax. We get taxed when we go shopping, sales tax. We get taxed when we buy a house, property tax. We get taxed even when we die. We call it death tax. Okay. So we always gonna pay taxes. So we even get taxed when we save money. Okay. And here I'm gonna show you 3 ways that every family need to understand on when we get to save money. Okay, the first thing, and how to reduce the impact of taxes. This is huge. Okay, now we have tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. Okay, here with the tax now, here we get taxed every year. For example, when we save in the banks, what type of accounts do we usually open? We open. So we open the savings accounts, the checkings, the money markets, the CDs, the certificates of deposit. So the reality is that clients, they usually get a letter at the end of the year, and they have to report the interest that they have made year after year. Okay, that's how the tax now works. The tax later, okay, tax later or tax deferred that we call it, these type of accounts, some of the examples are 401ks. I have them listed at the bottom. 401ks, IRAs, annuities, savings bonds. Okay, even teachers and police officers, they have different IRS codes, but also even traditional IRAs are examples of something that you get taxed later. Here, you grow your money throughout the years that you're working without paying any taxes. Okay, you will get taxed on the growth when you put money out during your retirement. Families have to understand that, because sometimes it's like, oh no, I'm putting money in my, some of these accounts, 401k, IRAs, and annuity savings bonds, but they don't understand the impact of taxes. I love to say it's not how much you make, but how much you keep. I'm not saying that we're not going to pay taxes. Okay, you listen to me. I'm not saying that we're not going to pay taxes. We got to pay our fair share. So tax later is a way of how families had to pay taxes during their retirement. Now, the next one is tax advantage. There are places where you can save your money tax-free. Okay, what does that mean? That you grow your money throughout the years that you're working, and you don't pay taxes when you put the money out at retirement. The reason is because you have already paid taxes on the money before putting it in one of these accounts through income tax. That's why, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have the scale shaded at the beginning, because hey, this is a great way to take advantage of taxes. Like I said, it's not that we're not going to pay taxes. It's just a different strategy. On one, you pay when you're trying to get the money out, and the other one, you do pay taxes, but it's before putting the money out in one of these accounts. Okay, hopefully that was clear enough. If not, we can, you can reach out anytime. I'm going to put my information so you can ask any questions. Now, the impact of losses. Okay, this one right here, I love to share, because the time to recover, what does that mean? Families need to understand the impact. Whenever you have a loss, how long is going to take you to go back to where you were at? I mentioned the lady about losing the amount of money that she lost at the beginning of last year. So you need to, when you suffer an investment loss, it takes strong market performance to be able to recover. Okay, and I have an example right here. For example, if you lose 50% of $10,000, you will need 100% gain to recover from your losses. Okay, so I have this an example here. So when you suffer from that, you need strong performance. So I have the example, hey, you have $10,000, you lose 50% of those $10,000, you ended up with $5,000, right? But when you ask the family, hey, how much do you need to go back to those $5,000 to recoup the $5,000 that you lost, they automatically think that they need 50% because they lost 50%. But the reality is that they need the stock market to perform at 100% to recoup what they lost. And how many of you, when have you heard that the stock market has performed at 100%? Never, right? So it's going to take you longer to recoup from a loss. Again, a 50% gain only takes you up to 7,500. It doesn't take you to the full 10,000. That's why you have to, families need to understand the impact of those losses. Okay. And I like to share that because sometimes, you know, we think that is, you know, what we lost, but hey, we need more than that. The next thing that I like to cover is the 6 steps to a financial independence. For you to be able to help someone and give them guidance, we use what we call the 6 pillars to a financial independence. Here, when we sit down with families, it's simple steps to help you control your finances, and you can do it with your personal finance as well. You know, seeing the simple steps that you can help you control your financial future. I help families sitting down with them, giving them guidance on each one of these steps. And I'm going to be touching on that, especially when we talk about cash flow, right? Hey, when we sit down with families and we talk about cash flow, it's an eye opener because a lot of families know how much is coming in, but they have no idea how much is going out as far as the expenses. There's sometimes little expenses here and there that they don't take into consideration. When if you want to give guidance to a family, hey, have a better understanding of having a budget. And this could be for an older individual, you know, millennials, you know, Generation Z. Everybody has to have a budget. Everybody has to have an understanding of what their income is and what goes out as far as the expenses. The next thing that we talk about is how to get out of debt management. You know, by looking at debt, we can probably estimate if you have in control and out of control debt, right? In control debt, what does that mean? What does that in control debt means? That's, for example, if you have a debt on your home, it has an ending date, 30 years, refinance 15 years debt, right? That's an in control debt because you have an ending date on when you're going to pay that debt off. Out of control debt is, for example, a credit card. People continue purchasing with those credit cards. That's out of control debt. It's crazy because there is not an ending date. There's no unless there's a lot of disciplined individuals or there, disciplined families that they put an ending date and they know how much they have to contribute on a monthly basis, and they have a better control. But the majority of the population, they have no idea how to control that debt. There are certain strategies that families need to follow. Hey, for example, mortgages. We might be able to save a little by doing a refinance. Vehicle loans, those are in control debt because they have an ending date. Credit cards are mentioned, or personal loans. Some of those are out of control debt. Student loans. Student loans are something that trouble many people out there because those are interest on top of interest. Right now, student loans are in the trillions of dollars. Right now, they're frozen. There's a lot of families that are not contributing. Well, after October, hey, everybody have to start paying for those student loans. So those are also out of control loans that we have to learn how to get a better manage of that. And there is strategies. Right now, I cannot, give you so much. I'm just going over overall, but there's certain strategies to help you get out of debt faster and pay less interest. The next one is emergency funds. What we do with families is we help them build that emergency fund, okay? The goal is to save from 3 to 6 months worth of their income for any unexpected situation, especially after COVID. The reality is that a lot of families were not prepared with an emergency fund, right? There's a lot of family had that financial hardship because they were not ready. They were not ready to cover. Hey, I mentioned earlier about being laid off, fired from their job. Even business owners don't even have an emergency fund to be able to fund their businesses. So and I work with a lot of them. And hey, the reality is that the strategy is not there. So we also try to build a family fund because it's important, especially after an emergency. The next thing is proper protection. When we talk about proper protection, what we do, we refer to, well, disability. God forbid there is a disability. Long-term care, especially those during retirement, sometimes they don't consider adding a long-term care benefit to their financial plan. What is long-term care for those of you who don't know? When we get older, we need sometimes help to, for example, an adult daycare, a formal home care, a nurse that can come to our house and take care of us in case of a disability. But if we don't have the right protection, who's there to take care of us? Well, hopefully our kids, for those parents out there. But if you don't have anybody that can take care of you, think about having a long-term care in place as part of your financial plan for your retirement and your future. Okay, retirement, we cover about retirement. We cannot depend on just Social Security. We cannot depend just on pension plans. We have to have a personal savings. There is ways. I show you options for your money, how to put your money to grow. There's different options. So the rule 72, there's certain accounts. Now, one of the most important concepts that we cover is that we teach families how to effectively protect their families temporarily or permanently. Talk about, like I mentioned, disability, long-term care, maybe how to personally purchase life insurance. So many families don't believe on life insurance, but that's a way. Now life insurance has what is called living benefits. Not all of them, but some of life insurance has living benefits. If you have a disability while you're alive, you can get access to that death benefit while you're still here. You don't have to wait until you die. So that's huge, right? The next thing is, in regards to retirement, we look to educate clients. Like I just mentioned, retirement. There are ways to optimize your retirement. I mentioned, hey, there's so many families that know how a 401k works. How much time? I don't know how much time families get educated on how 401k works. There's not that much time expended on how to better prepare for a better retirement. Usually a lot of companies out there, hey, they give you a paperwork, fill it out, figure it out, and then return it signed. So, and that's your retirement, that's your 401k paperwork. We have to sit down with families to let them know that they have to understand, because that's their future, right? Many families don't know about the changes about life insurance, but that's something they need to consider when talking about proper protection. The next thing is how to build wealth. That's huge. How to start to outpace inflation and reduce taxes. I mentioned inflation is almost 1.6%. If you don't have your money working at that rate, you're losing money, because the dollar today is not going to have the same value in the future. So how are you putting your money to work? There's ways to do that. So taxes, I know taxes are a touchy subject for a lot of people, mainly because there's a lot that don't understand how taxation works. We help families protect their money tax-free, right? Give them guidance through those tax advantages. We have an opportunity to show people how to pay less in taxes working under the 1099 status. Many benefits, there's many benefits that people don't even know about. How to outpace that inflation. There's so much to learn. And the last one, it has to how to preserve wealth. I mentioned it's not how much you make, but how much you keep. How much you're keeping for your family. How would you leave a family legacy? Wouldn't you want to leave something behind for your family members other than debt? I tell everyone, hey, you might have debt here and there, but some of the debt might pass on to your spouses or your kids. Many families don't realize that you can pass on debt to your family members. How do we avoid that? That there's way on how to avoid that. And how to preserve well, like I mentioned, how to leave a family legacy. Think about having a estate plan. estate plan, having a will and a trust in place is huge, and how to better manage those that wealth for your family. And I'm not talking about millions of dollars. Whatever you have built along the years, what are you leaving behind? But the main thing is have a better understanding about the 6 steps to that financial independence. Again, cash flow, how to get out of debt, debt management, build that emergency fund, having that proper protection, even if it's a disability, how to build wealth and how to preserve wealth, which is huge. The last thing, hey, there's my name, my phone number, my email. I'm on Instagram. If you guys need anything, more than happy to answer any questions, because like I mentioned, everybody's situation is different. I might be able to help the families that you also help, give them guidance. We do all this education and bring this awareness for free to the community. That's what we're, passing the word, making sure that all the families are aware of what options they have in regards to their personal finances, how to better prepare for their retirement, what options they have for investments. Everybody needs to put the money to grow. There's ways, even if they don't have anything right now, they have zero right now, there is ways to get something started. A lot of financial professionals out there concentrate on wealthy America, right? Who else concentrates on the rest of the population? Well, our organization is helping families rise to a better future. Now that's all I wanted to bring for you guys today. I can open it up for questions before we leave. Anybody has any questions, or you can reach out at me and ask me any questions if you need help with your personal, or if you have families that we can give guidance to. Any questions? I have my email, my information out there. Anybody that wants to reach out, feel free to do so. That's it. And this is all the information. If you guys want to take a picture, this is some of the information, the resources where we found these statistics and all that information from that I share with you today. So you can actually share with anybody else out there. Awesome.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you do any virtual trainings like that we could direct any of our clients to, like for like some basic level information?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. I'll get in contact with you, Ms. Shirley, and I'll send you the dates and the information that we're gonna be sharing along the way. Because like you mentioned, basic information, we sometimes do webinars in regards to how to put a budget together, how to establish an emergency fund, what investments accounts are out there that can, help families have a better understanding about investing. But one by one, cash flow, debt management, proper protection, retirement, specific retirements, according to the group that I'm talking to. So yeah, I can, I reach out to you and give you the schedule.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Well, it was so nice to see everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me go back. My information is there, my phone number if you missed it, my email. Feel free to email any questions anytime. As soon as I get a chance, I'll be able to answer, and then we can meet if you want more information in regards to your personals. So that's it for today. Thank you for being here. And I don't know, Miss Cynthia, do you want to add anything before we leave?
We'll be sending out a post survey and also the materials from the class today when he returns tomorrow. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him or to me. And thank you all for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day. Bye.